welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend, Matt.
Alright, Chris, we gotta get this in before it becomes not topical. We're gonna play Wordle.
Okay, I played Wordle today already.
No, but we're gonna play my Wordle.
Oh, shit, okay. Alright, what's up?
Alright, well, it's the same rules. I will tell you the colors in order of the word that you give me, and we'll go until you get it. There's no doing this in 6 tries. We'll go until you get it.
Okay, so my go-to word, I get yelled at for using this word, because there's a debate whether or not it is an English word, but it is adieu, A-D-I-E-U.
Yes. Okay, you got yellow, black, 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 black.
Okay, so just A. All right. I will then. Oh man, on the spot while we're recording, I hate that we're doing it this way because I do not know. I'm gonna have to really dig deep into my brain. What do I usually do from this during these points? All right, you know what? I'm gonna go into. No, that would be such a waste, and the E's already. I hate this. Okay.
There's no limit, Chris.
No, I know, but it's also I have tried to I want to keep things moving at the same time, so I feel like I worry about holding things up. Shit. I thought valet in my head, and then there's an E in there. Danks.
Danks?
Danks.
Like the plural of dank?
Yes.
All right, that's gonna be black, green.
Okay.
Black, black, green.
Black, 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 green. Okay.
So it's black, green, black, black, green.
Okay, so that means there's an A and an S. Okay. And I just realized I reused the D again. God damn it! So
Hey, you know where the A and the S are, though. That's okay.
That's good. It's good. So it was forward progress, as the kids say.
Yeah.
So then we have farts.
That is going to be same thing.
Fuck.
Black, green, black, black, green.
We will say. Man, I hate this. Is this Super Bowl related?
It could be thematic to our shtick.
To our shtick.
Just our vibe of the podcast.
Sure. I'm trying to think of words. Because the one vowel I have not used yet is O. And I'm trying to think of words that have an O in it. Let's do mayo. Mayos.
Mayos?
Yes.
Same thing.
Fuck! Alright.
Black, green, black, black, green.
Jesus. What other... There's no other letters in the alphabet. This is a sham. Let's do... we already... let's do gasps.
Gasps?
Mm-hmm.
I regret to say.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Alright.
Same.
There has to be an H in there, right?
I can't say.
There has to be an H now. Because there's not much I have left to go. I have not much left to live for here. Let's do... have we ruled out... We have not ruled out L yet. We have not ruled out J yet. Let's do jails. I know I is ruled out, but I'm just...
Jails? Okay.
Just type it in.
Alright, it is going to be black, green, black, green, green.
Okay. Is it balls?
It is balls. You got
God
it.
damn
Yes.
it, fucking
Yes.
Chris. That bit took way too fucking long. That was.
I thought that when I decided on this, I was like, okay, this is either going to make Chris. He'll either like spend way too much time on this, or he'll get it immediately.
No, because here's the thing. Like, at least with Wordle, you have time to like process and think. You're listening live on a podcast, and we just spent the first 7 minutes of this podcast,
and it ends in a ball joke. You're welcome.
It ends in a ball joke. Yes, and you could. In fact, you could have put that in Wordle or Loodle. Like, you could do either one.
That's true. Yeah.
You could mix it up there. All right. Well, this podcast is gonna be running short anyway, most likely. So we'll fill that time space there. I hope you enjoyed playing along at home, and I hope that you guys got balls sooner than me, so that that you were screaming at your phone while driving in the car listening to this podcast.
Balls.
Balls.
Just shouting balls.
Balls.
It's balls,
fucking
Chris.
balls. Yeah. And like someone from the car next to you just looks over and they just see you just screaming balls. Welcome everyone. It is the Super Bowl podcast. It is the Super Balls podcast, of course.
Super Balls.
We are on the cusp of the matchup between the Los Angeles Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals, Super Bowl 56. I've been watching coverage on and off all week, been listening to previews all week. I'm gonna be real, Matt. I still don't have my Super Bowl pick.
Really?
Deep in my heart, I just don't know where to go. And I think at the end of the day, I might just go with the opposite of you, just to make things interesting. All right. I don't have any which way I want to lean.
Do you know who I'm picking? At this moment, do you know who I'm picking?
I think I have an idea, so don't say anything. I think you're picking the Rams just because they have been your darling from the start of the season, but I think you also love the underdog, and I think that there would be a part of you that wants to pick Cincy for this. So you don't say anything. Obviously, we'll talk about it at the end.
I won't.
But that is my thinking right now, is that you are going to go Rams. That I'll pick the Bengals. But if you pick the Bengals, I might just go Rams, just to make things interesting. So it's all on you, essentially, to decide how this whole how the picks competition goes. We'll get to those Super Bowl picks at the end of the show. We will also talk about our Super Bowl storylines, the things that we're most looking forward to when the game is played, or just generally the storylines that will exist about these games in general. And we're also going to do the awards, give our award predictions. Yes, by the time you're listening to this, the awards would have already been given out. I forgot that they're doing the award shows on Thursdays now, so it just is kind of how this works now, where we're gonna give our predictions, and you could just right out of the gate you could say like, all right, that's wrong or that's right, So it's some real time realization of how wrong we truly are. But before we do any of that, we got a lot of news to talk about. So let's sit back, let's put our feet up, let's just talk ball. All right, Matt? So that's how balls. Let's talk balls. Let's talk all the balls. The head coaching cycle has come to an end. So everyone has filled their head coach position. And we're gonna go in order of when they were at least reported to be hired. And we'll start with Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson is back in the league after a year off. He was, of course, let go last year in the middle of January. After it was probably the most surprising firing of the season, of the offseason last year. Even though he won the Super Bowl with the Eagles, gave them their first Super Bowl. I guess the feeling was they had to make the decision. It's weird because I feel like at the moment we were like, well, I guess they're making a decision between Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson, and they went with Doug Peterson, but then they traded Carson Wentz the month later. So then I'm like, why the fuck did they fire Doug Peterson? I don't know. I forget what the whole storyline was for the Eagles, but ultimately he got let go, and now he has landed with Jacksonville. After a very strange search, I would say all signs did point to Byron Leftwich getting the job until he ended up pulling out at the last second. And he also, there's been reports that he was just not really happy with Trent Baalke, which it seems no one is. Being the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and so that I guess was a reason why Leftwich didn't want to land on that job. And so instead it is Doug Peterson. Matt, what is your opinion on this?
This is I don't know what my most like meh hire of the season was, but Doug Peterson's a candidate.
Really? So you're this to me I feel like there's a few of these that I would give more meh to Doug Peterson. But why do you say that though? What's about it that you're mad about?
He'll be a good coach. I just think that the way he ended in Philly wasn't so great.
Sure.
And I don't know what immediacy the Jaguars will be expecting for like them doing well.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. It's just like sure. For me at least.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, it reminds you of the time when Peterson was hired for the first time for Philly, where they. Yeah. I think, unless I'm mistaken, was Doug Peterson there when they drafted Wentz? I forget, but
I want to say no.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I like it. To me, it was like that. It's kind of that similar feeling of like, all right, well, you have this you're coming in and you have this young quarterback, and you're not in a state where you're like, all right, this team's gonna win this year. But maybe with with his leadership, he gets this team on the right foot. I'm looking at like the coordinator hires. They hired like Mike Caldwell for defensive coordinator, Press Taylor, who is the brother of Zach Taylor, as the offensive coordinator. And Press Taylor, I also think, was part of the Eagles staff, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. I look at this hire, and I'm with you in that, like, I don't think it's like this amazing hire. I'm not sitting here like, oh my god, this is like on the level of I don't know. I'm just gonna go Dable and just pat myself on the back for the Giants. but no, like it's not on a level where you're like, oh, this is actually really intriguing, really interesting. But I think it is the right kind of like turn for them from Urban Meyer, someone who had no idea what he was doing and someone who was completely unprofessional. This guy is super respected. A lot of people like him, and he also, I think a lot of his players like him. He gives ice cream at the end of his meetings. I mean, like, what more can you ask for the guy? Like, he's a slam dunk. But like, kidding aside though, like, I don't know. I like the hire generally. I do wish they went with Leftwich, because Leftwich is a Jacksonville guy, was quarterback there for many years, and I don't know. The whole Trent Baalke thing confuses me. I'm not entirely sure what Baalke did that pissed everyone off. I know that he didn't have the best. He had a decent tenure with the 49ers that they went to the Super Bowl, but there was some drama around that guy being there for so long, and then he got fired, and then got hired here as the GM for the Jaguars because he was just working in the organization when Caldwell got fired, and then they elevated him to that position. I don't know what that whole drama is. I don't know what kind of turmoil could come of that, but I think it's a fine hire. I think that I think it's definitely an upgrade. It's an upgrade, and that's all you can ask for right now for Jacksonville. Next, Dolphins. They've landed on Mike McDaniel, which will make everything fucking confusing with both Josh McDaniels and Mike McDaniel being both head coaches.
It's fine.
We had to work with the keep the S or drop the S. We gotta have to figure out some sort of like fun rhyme scheme to remember. But yeah, Mike McDaniel. This has been an up and coming coach who has been been part of Kyle Shanahan's coaching staff for a while. I think even going back to Atlanta, if I remember correctly. And he's super well respected. What's your takeaway from this hire?
I mean, it feels like a Shanahan. Like, hey, he's done well with Shanahan.
Yeah,
I think he'll. I think he'll be a good hire.
Yeah.
We'll see how much he gels with Tua. That's the important part, of course.
Mm-hmm.
As all these head coaching hires are, is how can we help our young quarterback, and that will be the end of it.
Yeah, I this one was I wasn't super high on this hire because I was just like, who the fuck is Mike McDaniel? I have no idea who this guy is. Upon hearing more things about it, it really seems like he's gonna be like a legit coach. He seems that he seems level headed. He seems like he kind of has an idea of what he's doing, and I think that's it's a good. It seems like a good hire. Everything with the Dolphins right now kind of just stinks, though. The owner being potentially having colluded to get his team to tank, and obviously Chris Greer not necessarily looking all that great either at the moment. So it's a weird situation to jump into. But if they're going to be committed to Tua, I mean that maybe this is a great coach to have for that. So, worth noting, because obviously this will be a conversation, especially with our next topic. But it's worth noting that Mike McDaniel is multiracial, identifies as multiracial, so that is another minority head coach that was hired.
Yep.
I think we were up to 5 head coaches, including the next one that we're talking about, that are multiracial, and 2 overall that are black. Speaking of that second black coach, the Houston Texans have hired none other than Fighting Illinois.
Try again. Try again.
Well, Fighting Illini.
There you go.
The Fighting Illini's own Lovie Smith. He's back. He did last year. He was the defensive coordinator for the Texans, and this is just a move up for him back to head coaching position. He was, of course, went to the Super Bowl with the Bears back in the day. He did also coach the Buccaneers for a period of time, and then went to Illinois for a bit, got let go there, and then ultimately went to Houston, and now is back in a head coaching seat. Matt, your thoughts on this?
I think that it's safe. Mm-hmm. I really like Lovie. Obviously he's coached 2 teams that I really like.
Yeah.
The Texans are such a trash fire, though. I don't know how well he's going to do here, especially with his defense. They don't have a lot of draft capital, to my knowledge, so...
Not that I know of, anyway, yeah. I mean, unless they get it with the Watson trade. I mean,
true.
That unfortunately is still a thing that we have to deal with and talk about most likely this offseason. I'm completely with you. I want to go back to when I texted you. I said that basically the bit, I want to call it a bit because it is absurd in the whole thing. The whole thing with the Texans really seem reportedly to want Josh McCown to be their head coach. They just want it so badly. They think he is the guy. And again, granted, he might be, right? But the dude generally does not have any coaching experience, as far as I know. I don't think did he coach last year?
Coach high school.
Okay. Sure. But but this is kind of like the idea of like what Brian Flores talks about in the lawsuits. Like you get like these guys that have no experience coaching. These white guys are getting experience that have no experience head coaching at the professional level, or just coaching in general at the professional level, are being thrown to getting into the head coaching position past all these veteran black coaches that have worked their tail off to get to the position that they are at. And I'm happy that they did go with Lovie Smith, but it also felt so last minute because their finalists were Josh McCown and Brian Flores. And of course, with Flores filing the lawsuit, they're now probably, the NFL, unfortunately, I mean, this is just the truth, they're probably going to blackball him like they did Kaepernick. And so the McCown is, I'm guessing that they didn't want the bad press of McCown being hired, so they're just like, you know what, let's just go in-house, let's get Lovie Smith, we know that he's a decent coach, and he is, like Lovie Smith seems like a decent coach. I'm not saying it's a bad hire by any means. But just considering the circumstance and considering the fact that the way that Ian Rappaport tweeted out the hire, it said that Lovie Smith will be the hire for 2022, just kind of speaks to the whole, like, I don't know what's going on with the Texans.
Yeah.
And kind of like, maybe let's really, like, how shitty would it be if they do this? They did it to David Culley. They do to Lovie Smith what they did to David Culley, and then as a stopgap coach 2 years in a row, and then hire Josh McCown. Like, that would be horrific, especially
that would be so dumb.
The two black head coaches, the hiring the young white guy who has no coaching experience. At least do us all a favor and just, if you really care about McCown that much, at least put him in like a position role, please. At least get him an offensive coordinator to make it at least look not as bad as it's going to look regardless. like make your, not even do us a favor, just do yourself a favor and do that, because the whole thing is just smells bad.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Sweaty.
Yes, it's sweaty indeed. And finally, Saints are promoting defensive coordinator Dennis Allen to head coach to replace Sean Payton. Yeah, not much to say on this one, but what do you think?
I think the Saints are going to look very similar to how they did last year.
Yeah.
Which is fringe playoff team.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's going to be interesting. I don't know what the cap situation is going to be like. We know that they do have a few players, I think, that are hitting free agency or nearing, like, just kind of looking for new contract extensions. There's also the uncertainty. Kamara was arrested last week.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
holy shit.
Yeah, I didn't have it in my lineup, but I did forget about that. Kamara got arrested. I don't know what the circumstances of that, the specifics of that are at the moment. I know that he had to do, it was like battery for serious injury or something like that.
Yeah, battery that resulted in serious injury.
Yeah, I don't know in terms of if he's still in jail or if he's out on bail. I don't know what the situation is with that, but that's going to be another circumstances that the Saints are going to have to deal with. Saints are
going to be a weird team next year.
Yeah.
I could maybe bet that they'd finish fourth, but we'll fucking see.
Yeah, I'm looking over at that team right now. I forgot. Oh yeah, Ben McAdoo is the Panthers is the offensive coordinator. I forgot about that.
Oh, that's right.
Well, he was good with the Giants before he became head coach.
Right.
All right. A few more things. NFL is going to Germany. Matt, what do you think about that?
Guten Tag.
Yeah.
Cool international market.
Yeah, I like, the fucking stupid ass American fans that are just like, well, it's an American sport, why are we going overseas? And then, like, they just lose their fucking minds. It's just like, who cares? Who cares? The NFL is a money-making machine that they're going to continue to figure out ways to make more money, and it is cool to see them go to different countries and, like, see that coverage. I don't know. I like it, yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
Munich and Frankfurt over the next 4 years.
I was gonna say, so yeah, Munich and Frankfurt. Yeah, I feel like I know nothing about Germany outside of some of the terrible shit they've done in the past, unfortunately, and like Wiener Schnitzel.
It's good. It's a good country.
I'm sure it's good.
They actually ban Nazis.
That's good. Oh man, isn't that just a real obscure law that
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, some sensible people over there. All right, the Washington Commanders. This is hilarious to me. Everything with the Washington Commanders, there's layers to this one.
There's a lot,
but specifically with the investigation going on. So the Washington Commanders announced that they hired an outside firm to investigate their own allegations into Dan Schneider, and that was announced. But then, like, I want to say within a 24-hour news cycle, the NFL then came out and was like, no, we hired the outside help to investigate. You did not. And now, on top of that, the NFL is telling Congress that the Washington Commanders are just flat out refusing to cooperate with both the NFL and Congress in turning over documents. And it sounds like, in terms of the messaging, you could say that maybe the NFL is just trying to cover up for Washington. But the way that the messaging sounds and the letters that are being written to Congress, because this is a congressional investigation now, NFL sounds pissed at Dan Schneider. So, I don't know, man. I think the name change, I don't know what the feeling amongst the Washington fans were about the name change. I'm sure a lot of them wanted to keep it as is. I don't fucking, like, obviously it's a racist name. I'm glad it's changed.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that the Washington fans have wanted more than anything has been a change at ownership. And it feels like it's itching in that direction, don't you think?
Even like there were news stories or people wondering, owners can like just make another owner not own the team anymore. They can vote on that. So I hope they do.
Yeah, no, like, honestly, like, it doesn't really make much sense to me that he's still there. I think the NFL needs to force him out. There's just been too many issues. I mean, it feels like Jerry Richardson, like, the allegations against him came out, I feel like, and then very quickly after that, he had to sell the team when it came to the Panthers. So I don't understand why people are really trying to hold out for Dan Schneider here. Maybe it's because of all the shit that's involved in the investigation that brought, I mean, this is the investigation that brought John Gruden down, and it could bring more people down. So maybe there's just like a worrying factor there, I guess, amongst the elites, that they're worried about, the horrible shit that they've said or done being leaked out, with this. I don't know. It's very interesting. Two other things here. Kyler Murray has scrubbed his Instagram, and he has scrubbed all mention of the Arizona Cardinals. Not a peep. And all that is left is a photo of him in his college uniform, and a photo of him, and this is Instagram, by the way, in his college uniform, and one of him at the Pro Bowl. Everything else is gone. And a lot of people are speculating that Kyler Murray is not happy with the Cardinals at the moment. What is your take on that?
Kyler Murray is the Cardinals.
He is the
Cardinals.
He represents the Cardinals. So, do you read anything into this?
This shit is so cryptic. I think people often read too much into it. I don't think it's gonna mean much in the long run, but it could. I don't know. Like I don't like speculate on this shit because I think it's like dumb high school drama bullshit. And I just like, it's just like these are grown men dealing with growner men.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, this was I added this
slow news day.
Yeah,
leading up to the Super Bowl.
I added this just because I just felt like it was like this conversation that started to happen with it. I'm kind of with you though, where I'm like, I don't know if we really need to read that much into it. I think the moment you start reading into it is when Kyler Murray just flat out says, "I want out," or something.
Yeah. If he says that, I will believe it.
I believe it. All right. Yeah, if it comes from his own words and not through just cryptic things that he does on his social media platforms. And it's also like, I guess it's interesting to speculate, like, what if he is thinking, there's some people that are like, what if he's thinking about switching to baseball? Or what if he's no longer wants to work with Cliff, even though he wanted Cliff in the first place? Like, there's a lot. It ultimately opens the door for people to just have an off-season storyline to talk about. So whatever, I guess. But it's interesting, to say the least. Finally, in the news here, I'm typing this into Google here because I want to find a news story to kind of lead with this. So going back to the Washington Commanders for a second, did you see Jonathan Allen? Did you see what happened with him?
Yeah, I saw the tail end of it.
Sure. Okay. So So basically, Jonathan Allen decided to go to Twitter yesterday and was like, "Hey, ask me anything," right? It's like, okay, this is fun. You got a football player who you know lets to interact with the fans and get some things. And so one of the questions is like the go-to question that like I feels like everyone gets asked in these AMAs, which is, who are the 3 people, dead or alive, that you would like to have at the dinner table? All right, or that you would like to have dinner with in general. So Alan responds with this: Granddad. Oh, that's wholesome. Hitler and Michael Jackson.
Yep.
And so then the person that asks, like, oh, interesting, why Hitler? and then Alan goes on to say this: he's a military genius, and I love military tactics, but honestly, I would want to pick his brain as to why he did what he did. I am also assuming that the people I've chosen have to answer all my questions honestly. Military genius, Matt!
Yep, that's what you call them. This is like, there's a lot of, this is partially related, kind of not, but fucking Attack on Titan, the anime.
Sure.
Is like has been talked about a lot recently. Sure. That's also military or Nazi propaganda, like subtle Nazi propaganda. Just stop with it.
Yeah.
It's a weird obsession that you have with it. Don't do it. The only response, like, if you say that you want to have dinner with Hitler, the only way that can be followed and have you be a good person is if you want him to be choking on a chicken bone and suffering the entire time. And just watch him choke, but not die.
Just watch him just endlessly
for minutes.
Later in the day, Alan did tweet. Earlier, I tweeted something that probably hurt people. Probably. And I apologize about what I said. I didn't express properly what I was trying to say, and I realized it was dumb. Yeah, no shit, Jonathan. It's just like... Yeah, first of all, like, why? You didn't ask me anything. Is it not, like... just a go-to to think before you answer? And the fact that you also sometimes you just don't have to answer everything. Like, you don't have to, if you have an answer to something, take a moment to think, is it something that publicly I should talk about?
The public should know.
That's just a general rule. Just a general rule of thumb for people who use social media. Just think, I have to use that too myself, but like, just in general.
Hey, Jonathan L., what's your search history?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh god, yeah, fucking military genius, give me a break. And I found it funny that people were just like, he invaded Russia in the winter, and it's like the most obscene shit that people were making jokes about.
Very obvious how he was not good at military.
No, yeah, exactly. like he was just a terrible person who wanted to kill a bunch of Jewish people and also just other minorities and other everyone that wasn't a white Christian person, right. Like it was just yeah. So there you go. That was your news. I just wanted to end it off with that because it's so absurd. Yeah. It's so ridiculous. All right. We are going to do a bunch of awards, and then we're going to talk about the Super Bowl right after these messages. It has been 2 years since we started Team Chaos Productions, and we would not be where we are today without the help of Anchor. You've heard us talk about it all the time, but let me remind you, this completely free platform gives creators the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your computer or phone. Once done, Anchor will distribute your podcast to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more so you don't have to. You can also make some money on the episodes with no minimum listenership. It's everything you'd ever want in a podcasting platform, so download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Happy podcasting.
Sick of talking about video games with people who just want to be toxic? Me too. So join us over at the Gaming Coop. We come together each month to talk about what we love about video games. Discussion topics range from our favorite soundtracks to the best relationships between characters. We also have some fun segments in which we play some trivia or build our school of gaming. Find us on Anchor or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Game on!
And we are back. And it is time for us to do our award picks. And so, Matt, I don't know about you, but my approach to this is because the results are already going to be known, I kind of am just picking who I want to win each of these awards for the most part. But of course, it can just be predictions if we want. I mean, a lot of these are kind of predictions, like they are feasible that they could happen, but I also sense that they're on the least likely element as well. So let's start with Offensive Player of the Year. Where are you at with Offensive Player?
Do that. I have to pick Cooper Kupp, my friend.
Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah. Kupp is definitely. He's such a world beater. He's so insane. I'll talk about Kupp later, but I'm actually gonna do Jonathan Taylor here for Offensive
Okay,
Player.
I like that. And I know where you're going now, so that's cool.
Because I feel like Jonathan Taylor is. I feel like he deserves so much credit for just all of a sudden, like, not really kind of having a quiet year the year before and not really being like this, like, no one really felt like he was at the level of being like, oh, he's definitely going to be the answer at running back for the Colts. And now with him really roaring the way that he did this year and just really pushing himself near the top, he just had such a great year. It really sucks that we did not get to see him in the playoffs, but regardless, that they're going to be set up with him for at least the next few years. Will be very good for the Colts. For Defensive Player of the Year, I have TJ Watt. I think that's where that's going. Even though Aaron Donald has had like kind of a monopoly on this award for some time, I think TJ Watt's going to win this one. How about you?
I also think TJ Watt is, you can't like do that well at sacking people and not win the award.
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, what's your O'Roy pick?
My O'Roy pick is, of course, the Catman himself, Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Just absolutely spectacular. Super excited to see what he does in
Domination.
The Super Bowl. For defensive rookie, I think it's a unanimous pick. I don't think any other defensive rookie really stood out like Micah Parsons here. I went with him.
Micah Parsons is great. He made me kind of root for the Cowboys.
Yes.
Which is wild.
Yeah, we were more on the Cowboys train this year than any other year of our lives. It's kind of wild. Then the comeback player of the year. Let's do that. What do you have?
I'm gonna say Dak Prescott.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. I definitely feel like that will probably be the way to go. But I have another comeback player of the year, and he's playing on Sunday. It's Joe Burrow.
That makes sense.
I think probably it will be Dak Prescott because these things get voted on prior to the season or after, like right after the season ended, but prior to the playoffs. Yeah. So, would Burrow be looked at in that way enough to have him get this award now? I don't know. I mean, if the votes were happening yesterday, like, yes, Joe Burrow would get it easily. But I think with considering the fact that the season ended and probably the Cowboys were, people were a lot more higher on them going into the playoffs overall. I think Dak Prescott makes a lot of sense there. My coach of the year, I went with Mike Vrabel. Feel like the Titans need to get some sort of credit for getting the 1 seed.
Yeah. He did a great job. You know who did a better job? Mike McCarthy. Just kidding.
Oh, you just like, I was just like, oh, you disagree. Oh, wait, what?
No, I'm picking Zach Taylor.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, he should get it, man. Yeah, that'd be great if Zach Taylor does get it. Because he definitely showed up. All right. What's your MVP?
You know who I physically cannot pick.
I know.
So I'll throw a bunch of Tom Brady last year.
Yeah.
Give him one more to go.
I was thinking about adding this to the news lineup, but did you see what he said on his podcast where he's like, never say never?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Jesus, here we go.
No, he's going to eat one cheeseburger and then be broken.
He's gonna have his first pork chop in years, and he's just gonna be like, I can't go back. Yeah. as I hinted at, I'm going Cooper Kupp as my MVP. I think that
Excellent.
this dude deserves it more than any other player this year. Just because I feel like as good as the numbers have been for Tom Brady and for Aaron Rodgers, I just look at Kupp. He had an historically great season. I really hope and wish that this was the case, but this award has always been a quarterback award, or it's been that way for a while.
Yeah.
And so he probably won't get it. I think it probably is going to be Rodgers, unfortunately. But I think Kupp is very much deserving of MVP. He is absolutely insane, and I'm so excited to see what Kupp versus Chase is going to be like, essentially, on Sunday. So, speaking of Sunday, let's talk Super Bowl 56. Matt, what is a storyline that you were super looking forward to for the Super Bowl?
So one thing that I thought was really cool about this season with the Rams, and that I've been like being really, I just think it's cool. I just think it's neat. Is just how the Rams have been like selling out their future. They're getting all the veterans. They started with Matthew Stafford, then they got Von Miller, OBJ. They brought back fucking Eric Weddle. Like they were building the super team, and then fucking just Cam Akers just waltzing right back in with his repaired Achilles.
Yeah.
The level of people that they were able to get, and it almost felt like a meme. It's like, oh, this person's a free agent, they're able to sign, go to the Rams, and it just kept happening. So I think that the fact that this is now all paying off for them with a trip to the Super Bowl is great.
Yeah, it is wild. Matthew Stafford, especially, I think it's so nice to see a guy that has been playing well for years for a bad franchise getting an opportunity to play in this Super Bowl at least once in his career. He has the numbers where if he keeps playing for a few more years to come, he's gonna have probably what it takes to get a gold jacket when it's all said and done. And yeah, Von Miller is so much fun to watch. I'm excited, like the fact that he's gonna get another shot at the Super Bowl. OBJ is now getting his shot at the Super Bowl, and weirdly, I'm happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that OBJ generally is a polarizing figure, and he's weird, and definitely he has his moments of being not being considered having good sportsmanship and throwing the tantrums on the sidelines, whatever you want to say about him. I always found him to be a fascinating player, and I'm kind of glad that he's getting this moment, because I feel like his career to this point kind of deserves it in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Even with all the baggage that he has, I feel like he was destined to make the Super Bowl, at least at one point of his career.
I just also think that it's really funny that we were like early back in the season, we were like, man, OBJ fucking sucks, and then he balls out of the Rams, and it was like, oh no, wait, he was right, Baker's bad.
Yeah. yeah, that is the thing though. He kind of was spotlighting something that was real. Granted, again, you can maybe feel uncomfortable about the way that he went about it, but I don't know. I just think that hey, he is turning out to be the best wide receiver 2 that you could ask for at this point, for this Super Bowl. So yeah, it really works out. My top storyline right now is that, yeah, you have this veteran team on the Rams, but how about these spunky newcomers in the Bengals? We've not seen the Bengals in the Super Bowl since the end of the 80s, I think.
Yep.
And the fact that you have a team that is a bunch of young guys that are getting their first shot at a ring, with obviously Burrow with his second year, Jamar Chase in his first year, but even even guys that had been on the Bengals for a while, like Jesse Bates, and Trey Hendrickson coming over from the Saints last season, and being a very key defensive player. You're getting a lot of these guys on this team that are these. And Evan McPherson, the guy who's exuding confidence that we're going to the AFC Championship. before he kicks the field goal to make it to the AFC Championship game. Like, there's just something
great
about it. Like these guys are just so confident, not to the point where they're like, oh, we're definitely going to win, but like just enough confidence where you're like, I feel like if this team didn't have that much personality, I don't know if we'd be going into the Super Bowl thinking that it's going to be close. Because I think that we would be kind of saying like, oh, maybe the Rams have this down, but it's because of the way that the confidence they show on and off the field, and getting out of tough situations. It's like you can never count the Bengals out, and that's what's I think is really fun. Is just this fun new team to see coming on the horizon, and maybe they'll be annoying in a few years, but for right now they're fun.
Yeah.
What is storyline for you? Another storyline.
I am really the one thing that's crazy to me is speaking of players on the Bengals, the fact that the fact that when Jamar Chase was drafted, everyone thought it was a horrible pick. That they were like, "Hey, you need to get protection for Burrow. Penei Sewell's right there. That's the obvious pick," and they didn't go with the obvious pick. And holy shit, did it pay off for them?
Yeah.
And it was even during preseason, Jamar Chase wasn't playing well. And then the season started, and they were like, the Bengals offense was on fucking fire. And he might go down as one of the best draft picks in recent memory. Early first round draft picks, at least. Just fucking, along with Burrow, honestly. Just the chemistry that you have is amazing. It really worked out for them, and now that they have these solid features and they made the fucking Super Bowl in his first year,
it's
wild.
It is wild, and just to add on that, like that whole preseason where he was struggling, that was like weirdly one of the biggest storylines of that preseason, and it was weird to me because it was like, oh, Jamar Chase is not working out. This is kind of like same old Bengals type stuff. But like people were making a big deal of like the fact that like the Bengals fucked this up so bad. Like they look at how he's performing. He's doing awful. Like this is not going to end well for Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Like he's just gonna get crushed because they didn't get Penei Sewell. But yeah, everyone was wrong. It's the best kind of thing to happen where it's just like everyone was wrong. No one had this Bengals team in the Super Bowl, and here they are. It's fucking wild. To me, another interesting storyline is Sean McVay versus Zach Taylor. I mean, obviously, it's been talked about all week about Zach Taylor being how was on the Rams staff when they went to the Super Bowl the first time with McVay. In fact, Taylor, I think today talked about how that loss to the Patriots kind of still haunts him in some ways. And it is the culmination of what has been kind of the butt of a lot of jokes lately, and why you get like a Mike McDaniel hire, and why you've got like a Matt LaFleur hire, and why you've gotten hires of these young offensive guru guys because of Sean McVay. Like he was the guy that was like came out of nowhere and really won people over, and he proved it. He's proven that he's a good head coach, and yes, like he has his moments that he's made some weird decisions. Obviously, the NFC Championship game was not his best moment, but he's easily a top 10 head coach in the league, and now Zach Taylor's here, a guy that no one knew existed before this year, even though he's been the head coach for 3 seasons now. and now he's reached the point where like he might be able to knock off the boy genius. He might be able to kind of come in here and be the first of these young guys to really to take the Super Bowl. It would be wild. So in both instances, it's very interesting to see what this coaching matchup is going to be like for this time around, because they both have their highs and lows. I personally think for coaching wise, I would still give the edge to McVay, but you never know. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
Your last storyline.
My last storyline is that these are both fucking 4 seeds, my dude.
Yeah.
The supremacy of 1 and 2 seeds is over. If the playoffs continue to produce wild card winners, this new format, it is a success. I don't care if the games in wild card weekend are bad at all. I don't care. I do not. The fact that it is not prescribed in stone anymore that the 1 and 2 seeds are going to be the ones to win is an improvement on the league, in my opinion. I just think it's really cool. I think it's cool that everyone has a chance, and I think that it's showing that the league is getting more competitive to allow for this.
Yeah, I mean, through 2 seasons, I mean, you did have the Chiefs last year make it to the Super Bowl, but they lost to the 5th seed in the Bucks, and then you had and now you have 2 4 seeds. Like, we've in this new format, we've not had a 2 or 3 seed make it to the Super Bowl yet. And the only 1 seed, like I just said, it just did not win. So yeah, it's fantastic. It's really, really, like, I'm hoping that trend continues, because I think it will be, and maybe there might be some interesting strategies that end up being put in place in the future if this continues to be a trend that, like, hey, we could go for the 1 seed. Yeah, hey, the 1 seed does look good, but maybe we could deal with like a 2 or 3 seed. You know,
I mean, you just have to win your game, Packers and Titans.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah,
fucking Packers.
Yeah, just wild. My last storyline, and to me, I think is the one. To me, I think if you look on both teams and you look at every single person on those teams, every single person deserves to win the Super Bowl. But I think the one person that deserves it more than anyone is Aaron Donald, a guy that has been in the league for now. This is his 7th or 8th year now in the league. He has cemented himself amongst the defensive greats of all time, and this dude is getting his second chance at winning a Super Bowl, and I think that, you know, he has a chance to potentially feast on Joe Burrow in the offensive line. That's not that great for the Bengals. But even if he doesn't perform well, even if the Bengals end up coming up with a very, you know, good plan overall, just how freaking fantastic would it be to see Aaron Donald get his first ring finally and be able to like just put the fucking like check mark on the Hall of Fame career for sure. Like, I mean, he already has one, but like this would like just cement it as one. He would cement himself as one of the best defensive players of all time. And so for me, he's maybe the one person I'm rooting the most for to win this game, but across the board, like we've already talked about this. I don't really care who wins. I like both teams a lot.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, real quick, I have to let my cat out because he just dropped down off my bed.
Whoops! Look at that cat go. What he doing? Leaving the room. I can't see him, but I'm narrating for the audience at home. The cat has passed through the door. The door has shut. Chris is returning to his seat, putting his headphones back on.
Oh, I've had my headphones on the entire time.
Ah, shit.
I was just kind of letting you go, though. All right, so there you go. That's our storylines. That sets it up. I feel like we've touched on as much as we possibly could. That sets it up now for our picks. The final pick of the 2021 NFL season. It is Rams. It's Bengals. It's both of them 4 seeds, like you mentioned earlier, Matt.
Yep.
It's 2 teams that kind of went into the season with different expectations. We felt like the Rams could make it to this point, but obviously their team continued to change as they kept on going into the season. And then, of course, the Bengals, who no one thought would make the Super Bowl, and here they are. What is your pick, my dude?
So, I decided for this pick that I needed to return to the foundation of our essence, right?
Sure.
We are Teamcast Productions, yes?
Indeed.
This has been a chaotic season of football. There are 2 number 4 seeds in the Super Bowl, which is awesome. That's chaos. It's great. We are looking at the Rams, again, a team that you said was great, and the Bengals, a team that are the epitome of underdog Cinderella story.
Mm-hmm.
The reason we started using the phrase Team Chaos was because we decided if we had no stake in anything, like if we did not have stake in either side, that you and I root for Team Chaos, whether it was football, whether it was Survivor, we wanted to see the chaos happen.
Yep.
I have had that mentality throughout a lot of this postseason.
Sure.
And come on, baby, it's the year of the Tiger. Let's go, Bengals.
It is wild that it is the year of the Tiger. That is, I did not think about that, but that is kind of wild that it kind of worked out that way, huh?
Yep.
All right. Well, I talked with you about this earlier, and I am surprised that you ended up going Bengals, but I love your reasoning, and I do feel like in my heart, the way that you just pitched that to me, I'm like, man, I don't necessarily want to pick against the Bengals here because we are rooted in chaos.
Yep.
But I do think that one thing that the Rams have brought this season it's kind of like no matter where they've played, especially the last few games, there's always an element to them that is just very chaotic in both the good and bad ways. Because we thought that they would just close out that game against the Bucs.
True.
And they didn't. You know, we thought that they were just going to go quietly into the night because the 49ers were just doing so well in the NFC Championship game. But no, they came back and they made it interesting. And it's because of that. And I just think that I don't doubt Joe Burrow. I don't doubt this Bengals team. I don't think that they don't. I don't think that this team is not going to win the game. I do think the Bengals have a very good shot at this. It is a very close matchup, in my opinion, because the Rams are so messy. And they're not perfect, regardless of what it looks like on paper. They have had just some really, really strange moments overall. And I think that ultimately the team that is down in this game has the advantage. And something just tells me that if the Bengals go up and like just show off early on, that I feel like the Rams might end up kind of coming back in this game and doing what the Bengals have done this entire time. And I think I just think that the Bengals will get their moment. With the way that they played this year, I think they're going to get their moment in the future. I think that this is the time for Matthew Stafford, and this is the time for Aaron Donald, and this is the time for Sean McVay to lift the Lombardi Trophy. I am going to go with the Los Angeles Rams in this one.
Excellent.
Yeah.
For the record, I want both teams to win.
Yeah, me too. 1000%. Like I do not care. In fact, my house right now is decorated with a lot more Bengal balloons than Rams balloons, but I think it was just because the Rams balloons were not available. So there you go. No, like we're super excited over here for the Super Bowl. I'm very excited. One last note on this. This whole postseason, I should say, we assigned a video game to each of the teams, and we've been riding that wave. And to this point, Rams versus Bengals, the matchup was going to be Halo Infinite versus Pokemon Emerald. And if the Rams won, it would have been Halo Infinite, and if the Bengals win, it would have been Pokemon Emerald. But upon further discussion on this, and upon reflecting specifically when it came to Halo Infinite, I thought about it, and that game I do want to play, but I want to play it with co-op, and the co-op is not in that game yet, and I also don't know if it would be a very interesting stream if I did just play it normally, or just by myself. So we've made a last-minute roster change here, and we have decided to revive Overcooked because they did not deserve to go down with the Green Bay Packers ultimately. So instead of Halo Infinite, Overcooked will be on the line against Pokemon Emerald, and if the Bengals win, Pokemon Emerald will still be played, and if the Rams win, me and Matt will play Overcooked on stream, which will be a lot of fun. Either one will be a lot of fun.
I'm excited for both because the Overcooked means we get to have fun together and yell at each other, and the second one means Chris gets to play a Pokemon game, and I get to be his Pokedex.
Yeah, true. It is a utility that is not very much afforded to me in other Pokemon situations. For this particular scenario, I'll have a vocal Pokédex that just talk me through some of these fights, because that is my biggest concern. Is like, man, I'm not gonna figure out type matchups or how to level up and how to use all the berries and
all the what's a held item?
What the hell are you talking about? What are these like, potions? What are we doing here?
You played an RPG before. You can figure it out.
I sometimes play RPG.
You know enough about RPGs to know what potions are. You're fine.
No, I know. I'm just messing around, of course. But no, yeah, like Pokemon. I will say, like, and this is going gaming coop territory, but I have been playing Arceus on and off. I've been enjoying it.
Cool.
And so. I have to go back to it. It's a little overwhelming, so I have to take my time with it.
Yeah.
But that hopefully, if the Bengals do win on Sunday, will help set the stage for me with Pokemon Emerald and getting me set to go with that. But if the Rams win, then we'll just cook together.
Yeah.
We'll co-op it up there. So there you go, guys. That is your Super Bowl podcast. Oh, we ended up going over an hour after all. That's nice.
Look at that.
Yeah, we made it.
Thank you, Wordle.
Yeah, I was gonna say, thanks to Wordle on that one. Oh, boy. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of myself. If it's any credit, I'm doing good with Wordle. I'm at a 23-day streak.
Nice.
Or 24. I don't know. But. I don't have the pressure on me usually for this. That laugh you just did just sound like Sans. Jesus. All right.
I wanted to see how long I could make it go, and it made my breath do weird things.
There you go. Yeah. Oh. Well, hold your breath. You need to hold all your. Oh no! Wait, no! Let it out. I don't want you to die on podcast. I don't want you to die in general, but especially not on podcast, because that would be recorded death, and that would not be good. I want you to save your voice now for Super Bowl Sunday, because we will need to be screaming and hollering for this great game. By the way, I think we did something on commercials last year and talked about like the commercial things.
We did.
Oh, we drafted the commercials. Fuck, I forgot about that. Damn it. All right.
Sorry.
That's all right. We don't have to do it. Not this year. But that was a lot of fun. Last year we did the commercial draft where we tried to guess when the commercial would air.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah,
you know what? We should still do that off podcast.
Yeah, that's fine. Because
that was fun last year.
That was, yeah. We'll hold off. Maybe we'll get some more people involved in it too. But all right, guys. We're next week will be our Super Bowl recap podcast. We will talk about the game. We'll talk about the winners, and then we will probably do a little look around the NFL, just talking about all the teams, not recapping their season necessarily, but kind of looking forward to the future about what should we look forward to each of these NFL teams. So we'll talk deeply about that, and then no more NFL from us. Essentially, we're taking a break from that. We're gonna move completely to just doing VBFL streams. We probably will end up doing. We might even do week 10 in our usual spot, or week 8. I keep forgetting that we no longer have 10 weeks. Yep. We'll probably have our last regular season week during a regular recording. We'll probably have and we'll definitely have our 2 playoff episodes and championship episodes on our regular feed, and then we will probably return to NFL discussions sometime in March. So that's where it's at right now. But for now, thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you after the Super Bowl.
Good night and good balls. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.